People go missing in the woods every year. Most of them are found, turned around on a trail, ran out of daylight, took a wrong step near a ledge. Those stories make sense. Those stories have endings, but some of them do not. Some of them just stop. A person walks into the backcountry and does not come back. The search finds their camp, their gear, their boots, sitting inside the tent, like they were set down carefully before bed. And the person is gone. No tracks leading away. No signs of an animal. No struggle. Nothing torn or broken or dragged. Just an empty camp and a pair of boots that nobody came back for. I have been reading about these cases for almost 30 years. Not because I wanted to, because I could not stop. Because I know something about them that I was never supposed to know. My name does not matter. What I did for a living does. I was a contractor. Small jobs, mostly. Repair work on buildings in places nobody else wanted to go. Cabins, fire lookouts, old ranger stations out in the backcountry. The kind of work that paid just enough to keep you saying yes to the next one. In October of 1996, I got a call from a Park Service office in northern Arizona. They had a ranger station that needed structural repair. Roof damage from a winter storm years back. Water damage inside. Standard job, they said. 2 weeks, maybe 3. The station was about 40 miles from the nearest paved road. No power. No phone line. Just a dirt track through pine forest and canyon country that turned to mud if it rained. They told me the station had been abandoned since the late 70s. That was all they told me. I took the job because I needed the money. The building looked worse than they described. Half the roof had caved in. The windows were boarded over from the outside. Inside, the walls were black with mold. Rat nests in the insulation. Water had been pouring through the ceiling for nearly 20 years, and nobody had done a thing about it. The place felt wrong from the moment I stepped inside. Not haunted. I do not believe in that. Just heavy. Like the air had not moved in a very long time. Like the building had been holding its breath. I set up a cot in the one room that still had a solid roof, and I got to work. On the third day, I was pulling rotten shelving out of what used to be the station office. The shelves were built into the back wall, floor to ceiling, screwed in deep. When I pried them loose, I found a door behind them. Not a closet. A proper door. Narrow. Set into the wall like it was built with the station, and then covered up later. The hinges were rusted shut. I had to use a crowbar. Behind the door was a small room, no bigger than a pantry, no windows, concrete walls, which was odd because the rest of the station was timber frame. Someone had built this room differently, on purpose. There was a metal desk pushed against the far wall, a chair with one broken leg, and on the floor, underneath the desk, a wooden box. The box was plain, no label, no lock. About the size of a filing drawer, maybe a little wider. The wood was dark with age, but solid. It was heavy when I lifted it. I set it on the desk and opened it. Inside were dozens of file folders, some thick, some thin, some held together with rusted paper clips or rubber bands that crumbled when I touched them. The paper was yellowed, but legible. Some of the files were typed on official Park Service letterheads. Others were handwritten on notebook paper. A few were just scraps. Loose pages folded and tucked into the folders like someone had added them later. The oldest file I found was dated 1931. The newest was from 1982. Over 50 years of reports, all kept in the same box, all hidden in the same room, all passed down, I think, from one head ranger to the next, each one adding to the collection and none of them saying a word about it to anyone outside the station. And every single folder had the same stamp across the front. Red ink, block letters. Do not file. I did not read them all that night. I read maybe 5 or 6, sitting on the floor of that little room, with a work lamp plugged into my generator, the wind pushing against the station walls outside. 5 or 6 was enough. They were incident reports, but not the kind that go into the system. These were the ones that got pulled out, the ones somebody decided should not exist. Disappearances mostly. Hikers, campers, hunters, families. People who walked into the backcountry and did not come back. Or who came back wrong. Miles from where they should have been. Confused. Injured. Unable to explain what happened or where they had been. And the details kept repeating. Camps found intact. Gear untouched. And the boots. Always the boots. Left behind in the tent or beside the bedroll. Placed neatly. Like the person had taken them off, set them down, and walked into the dark barefoot. Not once. Not twice. Across decades. Across different parks. Different rangers writing the reports, years apart. None of them knowing the others had seen the same thing. But someone knew. Someone collected these files. Someone put them in this box and hid them behind a wall and stamped every one of them with the same words. Do not file. I sat there reading until my generator ran out of fuel, and when the light cut out, I sat in the dark for a long time. I should have put the box back, sealed the room, finished the job and driven home and never thought about it again. I loaded the box into my truck the next day. I told myself I would hand it over when I got back. Report it. Let somebody else deal with it. But something happened that last morning that I have never been able to explain. I woke up early, maybe 5:30. The light was just starting to come through the trees. I stepped outside to get some air before starting work, and I looked down at the ground in front of the station door. The dirt around the station was soft, loose. I had been tracking my own boot prints in and out for days. I knew what my prints looked like. These were not mine. They were bare feet, bare footprints in the dirt, starting about 10 feet from the front door, not coming toward the station, leading away, toward the tree line at the edge of the clearing. I followed them with my eyes. They crossed the clearing in a straight line and disappeared into the trees. There were no prints coming back. I was 40 miles from the nearest road. I had not seen another person in 4 days. I stood there for a long time, looking at those footprints, trying to think of an explanation. A camper passing through. Someone from a trail crew I did not know about. An animal print I was misreading in the early light. But they were not animal prints. And they were not my prints. And there was nobody else out there. I finished the job in 2 more days. I did not sleep well either night. And when I drove out, the box was in the back of my truck. I never handed it over. I never told anyone what I found. Not until now. I have carried this box for almost 30 years. It has been in my garage, behind a stack of drywall, wrapped in a tarp. I have gone back to it dozens of times, read more of the files, compared them, looked for patterns, and I have found them. The same things keep happening. The same details show up in reports written decades apart by people who never met each other. The boots, the distances that do not make sense, the caves that nobody wants to talk about, and the people who tried to report what they saw and were quietly moved aside. I am not a scientist. I am not a ranger. I am not anybody. I am a retired contractor who pulled a box out of a wall and has not been able to put it down since. but people are still going missing. Every year. The same way. In the same kinds of places. And nobody is connecting it, because the people who did connect it had their reports stamped and buried. So I'm going to read them. All of them. One at a time. I will change the names, the locations, the dates. Some of the people in these files still have families, and I have no right to drag them into this. But the stories themselves, what happened, what was seen, what was covered up, that stays, because somebody should know. The first file is thick, 3 documents clipped together, a typed incident report, a handwritten note, and a memo that should never have been written. It starts in 1974, on a ridge in Colorado. 4 men walked into the backcountry and made camp at 10,000 feet. 2 of them came back. Neither one was wearing shoes. These are the buried archives.